Strategies for obtaining eligibility. So what do people do to qualify for benefits? If you have too much stuff, what are the things you're going to wind up doing? Well, essentially, everything that elder law attorneys do to help people qualify for benefits fit into two general categories. We're either going to take your assets and convert them from one category of assets into another category of assets. So we'll take what would otherwise be considered a non-exempt asset and convert it into an exempt asset, and then it won't count anymore. Best example, if you had cash, you could buy a car. Car's exempt, cash isn't. Simple, qualified for benefits. The problem with that is that you can't eat a car. So if you need to use your car for, if you don't really need the car, you're spending money on stuff you may not need. So, but you can do that all day long, no big deal. Medi-Cal's perfectly fine with that. The other techniques involve sheltering assets, and that typically means taking assets and removing them from your balance sheet strategically, and doing it in a manner in which we either have no penalty or have a penalty that we're willing to accept, and we can strategically deal with those issues. The problem with transferring assets away is a couple major issues. One is we've got the look-back period, and if we do it wrong, we can get penalized rather severely. Medi-Cal uses what they perceive as the average private payment rate, or the APPR, as the divisor when determining a penalty. And if you give more money than that amount away, then they will say you have to sit out of the program for a period of 1 month, or as many months as that penalty is calculated to. So it's important to recognize that giving away money can result in a period of disqualification. And if it does result in a period of disqualification, that means that you wind up paying for care out of your pocket during that period of time. And there are ways that we can mitigate that. So the first problem is that we can have a penalty. And we want to make sure that if there is a penalty, it's a penalty that we understand the calculation of, and that it's a penalty that's acceptable. The second problem with giving money away is that if you do it, if you give away your money, there is a substantial likelihood you may never see it again. And if you give away your money to your kids or to another loved one, there's a possibility that those funds might be lost to that person's creditor problem or divorce or other similar situation. So it is very important that if you are going to start strategically thinking about qualifying for benefits, that you take into consideration all of the different factors and all of the different solutions, and consider not only the penalty associated with giving the property away, and not only the benefits that you're going to be receiving from Medi-Cal or from the VA, but also how those funds are going to be utilized. In my office, the most common approach that we use in terms of protecting property, not only in terms of qualifying you for benefits, but in terms of protecting property from the potential problems associated with the person who is now managing those funds, is we use a lot of trusts, typically irrevocable trusts, to shelter that property, both to qualify for benefits, but also to protect the property from creditor claims of your beneficiaries, divorce, and other issues. So those documents can be fairly complicated, but they are crafted specifically to your needs and desires.